3.6, that's our second question, guys. This is a very popular diagram, so let us go through it. The diagram below represents a portion of the central nervous system. A portion of the central nervous system. Name the type of reaction that is shown in the diagram. The type of reaction that is shown in the diagram is the reflex action. Reflex action, the mark will be there, or reflex. Okay, then state the significance of the reaction mentioned in question 3.6.1. What is the significance, basically, of the reflex action? So this obviously allows the spinal cord to react or respond very quickly by sending impulses directly to the effector. So the significance of this is to protect the body from any injury or any kind of harm. So for 1 mark, we say it protects the body from injury, or you can say harm, prevents harm to the body. Yeah, protects the body from any injury. 1 mark. 3.6.3. Give the letter and name of the neuron that transmits impulses towards the spinal cord. And you need to give us the name. Oh, this brown. Okay. Give us the name and letter of the neuron that transports impulses towards the spinal cord. Obviously, this is where you're having a finger, which will obviously have receptor cells, which will receive the change in the environment, which is the stimulus, converted into an impulse. Then that impulse will be transmitted by the sensory neurons from the receptors to the central nervous system towards the spinal cord. So the label or the letter for this neuron is A. So the letter is A, and the name of the neuron, that is sensory neuron. 1 mark for the letter, 1 mark for the name. All right? Yes, ma'am. Okay, let's move. State one function of the myelin sheath in neurons. We've covered this in another video also. So they do ask about the myelin sheath, guys. They do ask about multiple sclerosis a lot. So you need to familiarize yourself with the content, what it is, labeling, the function, the disorder or the defect. The defect if the myelin sheath is damaged. So all of that information you really need to study for the exam. State one function of the myelin sheath. This is obviously to accelerate the transmission of impulses. You can also say it insulates the nerve fibers. So it insulates the nerve fibers, or you can say it accelerates the transmission of impulses. They've just asked for one, guys, so you can choose whichever one you want to answer between the two. So it will only be 1 mark. Okay, then use a flow diagram to give the correct sequence of neurons from the receptor to the effector. So the correct sequence will obviously be sensory neuron. You have the sensory neuron first, impulses from the receptors towards the spinal cord, and in the spinal cord you obviously have your interneuron, which will then transmit impulses to the motor neuron. So here for a flow diagram, in order for you to get the marks, guys, the full marks, which is 2 marks, your flow diagram needs to be correct. So you won't get 1 mark if your answer is partially correct. Let's say, for example, you swapped these two. No. So it's 2 marks or 0. All right. Let us move to the next question. I love this question. 3.6.6, explain. 3 marks. We need to explain. What are we explaining here? Explain why the brain is not involved. Why the brain is not involved in the reflex action that will follow the reflex arc above. As we can see, the impulses do not get transmitted to the brain. So this is the sensory neuron towards the spinal cord. This is the spinal cord. These impulses are sent to the connector neuron, then immediately to the motor neuron, to the effectors. That's it. So the brain is not involved. They're asking you why. Why is the brain not involved? So that's because, guys, the spinal cord will shorten the reaction time. So obviously to prevent any injury in the body. So the spinal cord will shorten the reaction time by sending the impulses directly to the muscles or the gland or wherever, which is an effector. So the brain normally delays the reaction. So if the impulses were to be sent to the brain first, the reaction will be delayed, causing an injury. Yes, there's your answer, guys. Let me show you how this would be marked. The spinal cord shortens the reaction time by sending impulses directly to the effector. The brain delays the reaction, causing injury or death. Okay, last question. We're explaining again. Yay. Explain. What are we explaining this time around? Explain what the effect will be. We're explaining what the effect will be on what? On the reflex arc and the reflexes of a person suffering from multiple sclerosis. This takes us back to which question about the myelin sheath? Takes us back to this question. Okay, so we're explaining what the effect will be on the reflex arc and the reflexes of a person that is suffering from multiple sclerosis. Remember, multiple sclerosis is basically as a result of the myelin sheath being worn out or damaged. So this is obviously going to affect the transmission of impulses. Remember, this sheath accelerates the transmission of impulses. So if it is damaged, that means obviously we'll have a slow transmission of the impulses. So if there's a slow transmission of the impulses, that means there will be a slow reaction time. You get it? Yes, ma'am. All right. Okay, let's write it down. There you go. Let me show you how this will be marked. The myelin sheaths are damaged, and this will cause a slow transmission of impulses and obviously a slow reaction time. So what the effect will be, meaning the slow transmission of impulses and the reflexes. So that will obviously lead to a slow reaction time. That's it. All the best.